Good day everyone, we are going to talk about the teaching of reading lesson, how to teach reading lesson, and the stages we follow to teach reading lessons. So, I'm going to give you general ideas and pieces of information that would help you answer questions either in oral exam or in the reading exam. In general, the first thing that you have to remember when we talk about reading comprehension lesson is that we have two main objectives behind the teaching reading. Number one is that students read the text, understand it, and do the related task. And number two, which is the most important one, is to train the students on reading skills. For example, scanning and skimming. Okay, so these are the main objectives behind. And as I said, most important one is to train them on the reading skills. Another thing that you have to remember is that for teaching reading, there are three general stages that we go through. Three stages for teaching reading. The first stage, number one, is that we call the pre-reading, and when we say pre, it means before reading. So before students read the text, or before you ask students to read a text, students do something else, and the main thing they do is that they survey. Remember, they survey the text. First thing they do, they survey the text, and when I say they survey, means they study the text. The text has other things. For example, it has something like pictures, so students look at the pictures and they try to describe. So you can ask the students to look at the pictures and describe them, also the title. Read it and try to explain. Either we talk about the title, or we can also have something like subtitles or maybe words involved in the text, and etc. And when students look at the picture and describe them, look at the title, the subtitle, the keywords, the words involved, and try to explain them, here students get general idea about the text. Another thing that you can ask students to do in the pre-reading phase is you can ask them to guess. Alright, they can guess here two things. Either you can ask them maybe questions. They can guess questions that the text might answer, or they can also get the general idea of the text, what the text is talking about. Now, when they guess question, you can also ask them to check what? Very simply, to check their guesses. And when I say to check their guesses, how do you think they are going to check their guesses? By reading the text. No, by using reading skills. For example, they can either scan the text or skim. So you can ask them to do one of this. To scan and skim the text, to whether, for example, that question answered in the text, whether the general idea they guess is correct or not. As you can see so far, students are not reading the text, so this is something that they do, as I said, before reading the text. The students can survey the text by looking at the pictures, titles, subtitles, and the keywords involved, and etc. They can guess, and then when they guess, they check their guesses, okay? This is the pre-reading stage. Stage number two, the one which is very important, it is what we call the while reading. The while reading is reading here. You have to give time the students to read the text. After that, they do the related tasks or activities. This is what we do in the while reading phase. of students. Here again, they should use the skills. You have to encourage them, especially while you are correcting the task. You encourage them to use the skills like scanning and skimming. So this is what we do in the while stage. The stage number 3 is what we call the post-reading. This is after reading the text, after doing the related task, after using the skills, that comes the post-reading. Now, in the post-reading phase, the students can connect. They can connect the what? They can connect the subject or the theme or the topic of the text with real-life situation. And here, they can make what we call comparing. They can compare or they can also contrast. For example, the text might be talking about learning English at schools and problems students face in learning English at school. So when you finish reading this, that time students can compare information in the text, ideas in the text with, for example, the situation in their school, whether they find the same problems mentioned in the text or not. As a teacher, you can also ask them to maybe discuss in groups or in pairs. Another thing that we can do in the post-reading is to ask students to give opinion, either written or in spoken, related to the subject or theme of the text. So as I said, the 3 stages of reading is the pre, while, and post-reading. That's all for this video. I hope that you learned something. Thank you so much for watching.